Hey, welcome to a special episode of The Hills Have Nerds. Today is the first of our Nerds in the Hills interviews. In these episodes, we're welcoming various creators, designers, and authors and artists from around the mountains to come sit at the round table of nerddom and have the spotlight shown on them and their endeavors. In this initial interview, Aaron, Cody, and myself sat down with Jay Shepard, the marketing director of Pikeville-Pike County Tourism and the man behind the Holler Critters promotional cards. We had a great time talking to Jay, and we hope you all enjoy listening to the interview just as much. If you're a LARPer, though, remember that the views expressed by the subject of the interview do not necessarily align with the views of the Hills Have Nerds. If you know anyone that you feel is a nerd in the hills and you think they deserve a spotlight on the show to talk about whatever it is they're working on or have worked on, let us know. Email us at hillshavenerds@gmail.com or come on our Facebook and send us a message. As always, everybody, we thank you and we love you, everyone, for all of your support and listenership. If you enjoy the show, taking a few moments to leave a review on Facebook or wherever you get your podcast does us a world of good in helping others find us. Word of mouth is our greatest ally, though. So if you like us, tell other people about those funny little fellers that are talking about Pokemon cards and such. That's it. Let's get to the interview. So this is a special episode of Hills Have Nerds, and I'm here, Josh, and we got Cody and Aaron, and we're joined by a special guest, Jay Shepard. Jay, you want to say hi and introduce yourself?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Jay.
Perfect. Nailed it.
This is great. So Jay was kind enough to sit down sit down with us for our Nerds in the Hills spotlights that we're doing, and we wanted to talk to Jay. You may have heard the name Jay Shepard if you watched our my Holler Critters review, the booster pack of TCG cards that Pikeville-Pike County Tourism put out. And if you saw those, you'd recognize the name Jay Shepard. This is the man behind the Holler Critters, the man behind Hikachu himself, and not to mention a ton of other things. And we're going to get into that. We invited Jay on because we wanted to sit down and talk to Jay about his creative process and what he's working on and what it was like, growing up in the hills and stuff like that, and being a nerd. You ready to get into it, Jay?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So first, and we ask everybody this, anybody that we have as a guest, who are you, for one, and what do you do?
My name is Jay Shepard. I work with Pikeville-Pike County Tourism as a marketing director, and I do a lot of the video, print work, marketing campaigns for tourism in Pikeville-Pike County, and also, on the side, I've been a graphic designer for the board game industry off and on over the last several years. So that's kind of what I like to do professionally. So
okay,
that's me.
Awesome. So you what drew you into graphic design? Made you say that?
Well, when I was a kid, I would play Mario Paint a lot. I was like, somebody gets paid to do this? I was like, holy cow. So I went into graphic design after everyone told me that I would be poor and not make a life out of it. So, boy, were they right. I kid. But that is how I got my start. I used to draw a lot, do a lot of art as a kid. I was all crippled up and everything, so I couldn't be a sports hero like most kids need to be in the area. So
you were what?
I was all crippled up. I was a Shriner's kid. My feet were all jacked up and everything. So wasn't able to do the sports thing, and I was more interested in art as a kid. So heroes was Todd McFarlane and Greg Capullo and Sam Keith, a lot of artists, Jim Lee, that kind of thing. So I did a lot of art as a kid. Of course, I got my copy of Mario Paint, and it was all over from there.
Dude, I remember Mario Paint. Aaron, Cody, did you guys play Mario Paint?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was more into the music end of it.
Yeah, man. I'd spend hours and hours that, and then the fly swatter thing, right?
that was
Wasn't
fun.
that
Yeah.
a thing?
I mean, I'm no whatever those YouTube guys are that can make like Through the Fire and Flames on it, but I could,
Oh, some of them are insane.
Mary Had a Little Lamb, let's go.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Yeah.
They're basically Mozart of the Hills on Mario Paint.
You got me.
Not bad.
I like to be more akin to Bach, but
Ralph Stanley eats your heart out.
That's right.
It's
Yeah, right.
13. You put you a couple Yoshis and a couple Toads and then one of them fire flowers on it. And my God, you got Lonesome Whippoorwill or what? Thank we. Oh, that's awesome, man. It's awesome. So Jake, do you consider yourself a nerd? So that's the big question we ask everybody. You know, why did we pick you to come be a nerd sit at the round table of nerddom? You know, do you consider yourself a nerd? And if so or not, you know, what does that word mean to you?
That's a very philosophical question.
It certainly is. You're damn right.
Because, I mean, I paint toy soldiers, so I'm pretty sure that's my favorite. One of my favorite hobbies is to paint toy soldiers and then enact battles on a tabletop with them. So I think that would probably qualify me as a nerd. And I play classic video games, Super Nintendo, arcade, that kind of thing. So, but there's levels to the nerd game, I think. So, like, there's certain nerds that freak me out. You know what I mean? Like, and nothing wrong. I mean, heck, everybody do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not against.
I gotta say, the views of the Hills or the views of Jay Shepard are not necessarily the views of nerds. But
I'm just
anyway,
being honest.
continue. No, by all means, let's burn some bridges, Jay. Who do we not like?
I love everybody. Listen, I do, but so I just say it, some things freak me out. Like, and it's all hypocritical. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like people who LARP freak me out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like they dress up and then they go out in the hills and throw lightning bolts at each other and whatnot. But I mean, that's hypocritical because you have like people who cosplay, and I think that's kind of cool. So, and then of course I play games like where I'm pretending I'm a general, you know, on a tabletop. So, I mean, it's totally hypocritical, but that kind of thing freaks me out. You know what I mean? A little bit. I just don't understand it, I guess.
Okay.
But so
Would
there's
you
levels
ever-
to the game, you know?
Would you ever LARP if somebody wanted to get you into it? Would you try? Would you be willing to try it out if they approached you?
No way.
No, with those freaks, hell no.
No. I mean, it's just like I would laugh the whole time. It would be no way I could take it seriously.
I think that's the point's to have fun.
I don't know. I think these people really are into it, man. You know, if I'm a guessing man. But anyway, nothing against the LARP community. I don't want to come to work tomorrow and a bunch of LARPers like jump out of the shadows and beat me with foam, you know, swords and crap. But
What if it was Civil War LARPing?
well, that's me being hypocritical again because we used to have the bushwhacking at the Russell Fork Civil War reenactments, and that was awesome. And there's probably no difference in those two things.
It's the same thing.
It is. I told you it's hypocritical. But I don't know, man. They were shooting artillery and stuff. I just thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm a total hypocrite. But yeah, that kind of freaks me out.
At least you're willing to admit it.
Totally not fair. I get it. I admit it. You know. But
This is a weird time to say that I'm really looking to try to make a connection with. There's a huge LARPing community in Central Kentucky, apparently, and I would love to have somebody on the show.
Josh wants to go out there and play Dagger here.
I do. I really do. I thought that would be great, like to get out there and hang
goodness.
out and talk to these people. That it's such a huge, rich community, and the stuff they do for it's just the amount of work these people put into that stuff.
I'm sure.
Is.
Yeah.
That was an incredible amount of work. We looked at it once.
Yeah.
That just I mean, nothing but love. That freaks me out.
I have
And,
never LARPed before, but I would love to try it.
Oh goodness. See, there's
And
levels to the game. So, you know, you take it for what it is. I mean, I am a nerd for sure, but I don't know that kind of. And people who dress up like, you know, animals and stuff, it's kind of weird too, like furries and stuff. That kind of freaks me out too, but I don't know. It's not for me. I should say it's not for me. That's the right thing to say. It's not for me, but it's okay. I love everybody.
Each their own. It's
Yeah.
That's kind of our thing here on the Hills Have Nerds. You know, everybody's got their thing. As long as you're not hurting people and you're not hurting yourself and you're not hurting animals and you're having a good time, go for it. Let your freak flag fly. Do whatever, man. Have fun. Life's short.
Yeah,
Enjoy yourself. All right. So that was we spent more time disparaging LARPers than I thought we were going to.
We'll have like the official LARP community after me now. That's great.
They bring people to Pikeville. That's what we need.
They're going to capture me and bring me to Zargon and let me know what my fate would be, I guess. I don't know.
Just imagine Jay gets out of his car, starts to walk into work. Some guy comes out of the shadows, just hits him with like a Nerf dagger. And Jay just kind of turns around, looks at him, and the guy goes, "Ha, you can't use your arms."
I guess I got to play along or this guy might really hurt me.
You have a guy come out and just a hooded figure, and they have like a smoke machine going around him. He's like, "I'll cast a spell."
Misty step.
Lightning.
Lightning.
Yeah. Misty step.
You'll think twice before you talk about us, Jay. They just
right.
run. They Naruto run away through the parking lot.
I don't know. Just like you said, to each their own or whatever.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Good news. It sounds like they'll be more of a nuisance than a threat. So it's okay.
But anyway, like I said, I'd love to talk to some LARPers. We'd love to have
Give you
them.
No, some of those people have some physicality to them, and if they actually wanted to hurt you, bet they could.
Probably.
Yeah. Three local Pike County men are found beat to death in an alley.
There was still a foam sword sticking out of one of them.
One had the words "Nerf or nothing" branded into his forehead. All right, let's move on before we actually hurt somebody's feelings. All right, so Jay, we try what we started this podcast off doing, being the Hills Have Nerds, was trying to bring our nerddom to the forefront with our own little Appalachian spin on it. And what we've kind of developed into is kind of like a nerd culture history type spin. And then we talk about our experiences with the stuff on there, but we still try to keep in mind and try to keep present our just us being, in the hills. So, is there any particular anecdotes or experiences or anything like that of quote unquote growing up nerd in Appalachia or anything that you would want to share, or have you found it to be different from growing up nerdy somewhere else, or just the prevalence of nerd culture here, or what have you, or the availability, I guess. And then, if you want to share a little bit more of your background and more of the stuff you're into, feel free to go for it.
When I grew up in the old hills, Eastern Kentucky, here in Floyd County, that's where I come from, people they acted like they was not into that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have a lot of nerds in my class. And I used to be a really big Nintendo fan. I still do. I love NES. I collect the games. Not to collect, but to play. But back in the day, everybody's like, we don't beat you up or something if you are in that kind of thing. Then now you talk to people in like they're my age now, and they're like, "Man, you remember back in the day we used to play Genesis all the time and Super Nintendo and all that?" I'm like, "No, back in the day you all were closet gamers because nobody would admit to any of that stuff. You know what I mean?" So, I did have some friends that played some games like D&D and stuff, but it was kind of hard to find people to play games. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It seems like there were not that many people into it. And then, of course, everybody now says they were, and maybe they all just hit it. I don't know. No. But it was kind of hard. I didn't have a lot of money back in the day, and it was really hard to convince my mom to buy this stuff because she already hated the stuff anyways. She hated the D&D stuff. They bought into the whole, demonic thing. And so I would go to, as a Read More bookstore when I was a kid. I'd go there and I would try to steal D&D modules out of the bookstore there.
Was sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. Try to steal D&D modules from Readmore?
Yeah, that's what I used to do. I would, me and one of my buddies, we were like hooligans, when I was young.
Weren't you crippled up? How the hell you going to get away with it?
A cripped up
I did
hooligan.
get away. But yeah, I could walk. I just can't run very well. You know what I'm saying? So I could walk. It's just, standing for a long time and running is the hard part. But so I would go in there, and the modules are really thin, and I'd try to cram them down in my old pants, and then failed my stealth check, I guess. So that guy by the counter was like, "What are you doing?" So yeah,
that's fantastic.
It didn't work out. So what I did is my mom got me a typewriter because I'm weird and I like to write. And I could barely read, but I was really good at writing. You make sense out of that. So I sat and wrote my own RPG book based on a few sessions that I played with some of my friends that, had D&D that would play it maybe once or whatever. Wrote my own RPG game, and that's what we played. I'm sure it was, I don't even have a copy of it now, but I'm sure it was ridiculous. But at the time, we had a lot of fun playing it. So had to make my own games, man. I didn't really have the money or the opportunity to buy all the cool stuff back then. So I had to make my own.
Do you remember any of the rule sets? Any of the rules for it?
I know that my RPG, which was called Mystic Realms, which is funny. I talked to my buddy Joe Mead, his RPG today is Mystic Forces. But
Joe Mead's also going to be on the podcast. I had to reschedule with him because I had a tree fall on the house last week.
Goodness.
Yeah, he was supposed to be on last week, but he's going to be on week after next.
Joe's awesome, man. He's one of my game development buddies.
I'm excited.
But I remember it was like a percentage based rule set. D100, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Heavily influenced by Final Fantasy because I had Final Fantasy 2 at the time. And the first one that was on the NES, had a lot of influences there.
And those are really heavily influenced by D&D in general. So, that's a good place to take it from.
It is. A lot of the monsters kind of look the same, too. So
I was just playing a Final Fantasy, and it had a monster that was literally just a Mind Flayer named Mind Flayer. So.
Yeah. Those used to be called something else. I forgot, but they changed the names over time, I guess, for, IP reasons. But, and I got a copy of Dragon Strike, the board game, one time. I saved up my money for that. And
what's that?
Hero Quest. It was a D&D.
Hero Quest.
Yeah, Dragon Strike had a VCR tape with it. And it was, I thought it was cool, but everybody says it was corny. So it kind of like set up the stage for the game. And then, of course, you had a double-sided board, or maybe was they 2 double-sided boards? I can't remember. But it was loaded with awesome miniatures and stuff. And of course, somebody came on TV and said that kids are like cutting pentagrams in their flesh and doing all that stupid crap. So my mom threw all my crap away, which is like terrible. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's my background. Really, just kind of doing what I can with what I had to work with. I remember, my dad was, he passed away when he was really young, but he, it was during that time he was alive. He had cancer, but I remember he's like, "Yeah, I'll try out this game with you or whatever, this RPG game that you wrote or whatever." So I was like, "Yeah, that's awesome." So I set up this game, and I'm like, "Okay, you could be a thief." He goes, "All right." So he's at like I'll never forget this. He was at like a shop in the game, and I said, "All right, Dad, you want to steal some stuff in this shop?" And he was like, "No. Why would I steal? That's terrible. I don't want to take somebody else's stuff." That's what you're supposed to do. He didn't get it at all. It was hilarious. He was like an honorable. I should have made him something else. You know what I mean? But should have been
He's Robin Hood.
Yeah, Paladin, Robin Hood. No, Robin Hood's still stealing.
Apparently, because I like to steal stuff back then. Maybe that's why I wanted to be a thief.
Oh, yeah.
But
trying to get him in on it.
Yeah, he didn't get it. But of course, my mom threw away everything, and maybe a year or two later, I went to page 3 where we all lost all of what little money we had. And of course, I didn't get to go to page 3 whenever I wanted. It was like a holiday. if someone would take me to page 3, it was like the greatest thing ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I had to live off of flea market stuff, you know? So, you know, people selling magic cards at the flea market or whatever. It's the only thing I could get to, or whatever Readmore had that I couldn't afford. So at page 3, I blow all my money on Warhammer when it came out. It's my favorite game, Warhammer Fantasy Battles 5th edition. And when I brought it home, I was like, my mom's going to think it's some sort of demon thing. I said, look, Mom, it's got lizards. You like lizards?
Genius. There you go.
See? Because she has all these like lizards in the yard, you know? And I'm like, yeah, it's just, this ain't the same thing. And then, of course, I'm not going to show her the bloodthirster or anything.
Or what's the troll matron or the swamp troll, the one with like the 6 tits hanging down?
You're talking about the
swamp
one,
hag or something.
Trish Carden Skelton released some pictures of that recently. It's like the troll hag, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, they're bringing it back. They're bringing it back. It was one of the early releases, and they're putting it back out or something.
Totally want that model, by the way. But
your sexual awakening. Let's get into that, Jay.
Wow, that's a rather large model. That's like super gigantic.
It looked massive.
Oh, it's massive.
Yep. So that's little snippets of my crazy life for you there. I don't know if that was anything useful.
Nah, it's awesome, man. So we're talking about you. That's what this episode is about, Jay Shepard, and you know his endeavors.
That's right.
Now, whether or not you were interesting enough to fill an episode, I assumed that you were, and the other gentleman that you work with down there said that I should definitely talk to you.
Okay.
So you have a fan down there you work with.
Yep. Tony's pretty awesome.
Tony, yeah. I kept calling him Troy. Yeah, Tony was really cool to talk to. I think you're doing good so far. I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah.
And the story of Jay. I like the anecdote about you and your dad playing D&D.
Yep, that was
that's awesome.
That was fun.
I can only hope that my son talks as fondly about the moments of us playing Dungeons and Dragons later on in life.
That'd be great.
As you have here. It's probably going to be, I tried to play Dungeons and Dragons with my dad, but he kept telling me I was doing it wrong and I needed to roll these dice. I was rolling the wrong dice. And did I want to be killed by the dragon? Is that what I want?
Oh, it grows you up good, man. It's like my niece, she's challenged me to Mario Kart for the Wii, and I laid the smackdown. You know what I'm saying? Because I won't let her win. What are you talking? I know she's only like 8 years old or whatever, but she needs to learn. You know what I'm saying?
They got to learn the hard truths of life.
You're going to learn today.
Right. You got to earn it. You know what I mean?
Which Jay, when you talk about Readmore Bookstore, which one were you talking about? Because the one I used to go to, my dad ran a cobbler shop in Prestonsburg for a long time. And I used to go down there with him. We'd go to the Readmore on West Court Street, and then it moved.
So the Readmore I'm talking about was in it's that plaza out there. It has the Chinese restaurant and all that.
Yeah.
Has the grocery store. I forget.
Different Readmore, Josh. Come on.
I might be misremembering because I know we go to Readmore in Prestonsburg, but I thought it was on West Court Street initially, and then it moved out there to that plaza. But I might be wrong. This is riveting conversation for the listeners. The geographical layout of the businesses in Prestonsburg, Kentucky.
It's in the Readmore I'm talking about was in Glenview Plaza.
Yeah. Yeah, so, out there where the eBay store and all that is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never in Prestonsburg, so I don't know.
I love it. I used to go to Billy Ray's all the time. Such good
yeah.
food. Shout out to Billy Ray's restaurant. If you're ever around Pike County, Prestonsburg, or Floyd County, Kentucky, and Prestonsburg, go to Billy Ray's restaurant. It's fantastic.
Good stuff.
Not to be confused with Billy Ray Cyrus, even though given our how we sound, that is the logical conclusion anybody that doesn't sound like us would make.
Would have been cooler.
Not affiliated, as far as I know.
As far as you know.
Let's move on a little bit. Jay, so you've talked about you like wargaming. So when you say you you war game. Is Warhammer your war game of choice?
I like anything though. I play Warhammer, Fantasy Battle. I even do 40K. One page rules is amazing. I mean, it's incredible. Jay Thacker is on their board. Did you know who Jay Thacker is?
Jay's a close friend of the show. Yeah, he's on episode 5
man.
of the show.
I was get this, and you're not gonna believe this. I was playing one of my buddies is named Ricky Hamilton. Some of y'all might know him. He was visiting. We were playing 40K, and I was sitting there telling him, man, I'm telling you, One Page Rules has a sci-fi rule set that's incredible. And I was just singing the praises of it, and then like Jay Thacker sits down because he apparently was coming in there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm on the board for One Page Rules." I'm like, "What's the freaking? It's a small world, you know what I mean?" And he cleared up some rules for me and everything, but it's one page, you know what I mean? It's not going to have. You got to get the deluxe rule book, which I have, but so I support them. It's an incredible game. I mean, if you want a game that's easy to learn and captures the tabletop feel of wargaming, that's the game to try. I play that a lot. Kings of War, Mantic Games, of course. I love that game. So I'll play anything. I went to Goblin convention in Ashland not too long ago, and somebody demoed a bolt action game, and I thought that was awesome. So
that's we got a listener that plays bolt action. Shout out to Steve.
I plan on getting into that game whenever I'm finished with all the 1,000 other projects I'm painting up right now. That was a lot of fun. So
Jay, if you ever
I'll play anything, man.
If you ever come on our Facebook, Jay, you need to check it out. We got a listener, Steve, who is really into bolt action. And then another shout out to Jay. And anybody that's listening to this, if you haven't listened to episode 5 of the podcast, Wargaming on a Budget, we had other Jay on. Jay Thacker on, who's like Jay Shepard just said on the. Good Lord, you all called it's confused me.
Jay said that Jay and
Jay said that Jay did this and Jay did that. He's on the board of directors for One Page Rules, which is an absolutely phenomenal rule set for mini gaming and just great to kind of ease yourself into the hobby. Like it's very what's the word I'm looking for?
It's a brilliant rule set for sure.
It's not as daunting.
No, but it covers all of the elements. Yeah, you get all the elements of wargaming without having to learn the crunchy stuff. You know what I mean?
User
very
friendly
well
and
made.
inviting. There you go.
Yeah, but still fun. You know.
Well, yeah, man, it's a small world here in Pike County. We're the largest county in Kentucky, but most everybody knows everybody.
Yep.
Me.
Insert hillbilly family stereotypical
Yeehaw.
joke here somewhere.
Mm.
So speaking, sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
The hillbilly bear grumbling.
Speaking of hillbilly bears and perpetuating hillbilly stereotypes, what introduced me to Jay here was I went down during Hillbilly Days. That's our little festival, our yearly festival we have here in town, where we celebrate hillbilly art, music, and culture. And it's just a 3-day hootenanny that's wonderful and thrown by the Shriners for good cause. It's great. But I saw someone tagged me in a video that I had to watch 3 times before I realized whether it was real or not. And it was a video that said, come get your Holler Critters. Pikeville-Pike County Tourism is putting out a set of trading cards akin to Pokemon, but legally distinct, like Power World.
The best kind of distinct.
Best kind of distinct. Legally distinct. Well, we'll wait and see if you get that cease and desist from the Pokemon Company. But they're putting these out, and you could come down to commemorate Hillbilly Days and get a pack of Holler Critters booster or Holler Critters trading cards. And I had to watch that 3 times. I sent it to the podcast chat. Like I sent it to Cody and Aaron and Lee. Lee says hi, by the way, Jay. He's sorry he couldn't be here. He's with his wife today. Yeah. You don't have to butter him up because he's here. It's or because he's not here. now's the best time to talk crap about Lee if you're going to.
Yeah, he's not here to defend himself. You can say whatever you want.
He never listens to the podcast.
No, he does not. Lee rarely participates in things he's a part of. But yeah, so I watched it and I sent it to these guys and I was like, what in the hell is this? What am I seeing? And I went down and got
art.
I mean, I was, and they looked good. Like they looked really good. They looked cool. The layout was neat. The design of them was cool. I was like, is this real? Like, am I high right now? Like, is Pike County, Kentucky releasing, kind of like mildly offensive hillbilly trading cards, hillbilly Pokemon trading cards? Like, is this real? And so I called, and I called the tourism center, and they said, yeah, they were coming in that morning, the first day of Hillbilly Days, that Thursday. And I went down there Thursday morning. I was in that visitor center at 11 o'clock. And you all were sold out, Jay.
Yeah. Yeah, we were. It was kind of my fault.
Out. I had to wait a week for my Holler Critters, Jay.
Well, the reason they sold out, and I'll be honest with you, is we got them in and we didn't think anybody would buy any. So when people would come in, we're like, yeah, we'll sell them early. Why not? And yeah, we went crazy. We had to reorder several times. I think we sold over 4,000 cards or something like that.
I mean, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, we didn't make any money on them. So if, Nintendo's listening, we probably spent more than we made on making the cards. But it was really just to get people to know where we are, because we moved our welcome center from the Hampton Inn to the Pikeville downtown Flatiron building. So we wanted to get families in there during the festival to know where we are, where a new location is, and give them something memorable, So that was really the idea behind it. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I'm going to get you to talk about those for a second. I just want to say a couple of more things about them. So I did, if anybody's interested, you can see every single Holler Critter that was released on a video that we posted on the YouTube of me going through the pack and kind of opening them up and talking about each of the Holler Critters. So that's there. You can go check the Hills Have Nerds on YouTube for that review. And then I'm gonna link to the commercial or the advertisement or whatever it was that you guys put out for these things.
We have two. I think we have two different ones.
You do. You do have two. And we'll link to those in the show notes, and also a link to the YouTube will be in the show notes as well if you're interested in the Holler Critters. But okay, so Jay, what was the inspiration for Holler Critters? Like, where did this come from? Why something that's akin to a trading card game? Like, what? Just talk about Holler Critters, man.
Well, of course, I have a background in doing graphic design for the board game industry. I did a lot of games for Mantic Games. I did graphics for the Walking Dead All Out War game that they made. Walking Dead, Here's Negan board game, Star Saga, Vanguard. A lot of games that they make them in England, So I did several games for them, and I really enjoy doing that kind of work. That's really what I love, is designing interesting things like that. So I did several games, and me and Tony were trying to think of ways of bringing families into the Welcome Center, like I said. So I remember I visited my brother and my nieces and nephew a few weeks before that, and I got my niece a Pokemon intro game. You know what I'm saying? Like the one, I don't know what it's called, but it's got like 3 or 4 decks in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I played a few games with her. It was fun, And I said, hey, this game's not bad. I've never really played it. I know it's kind of embarrassed to admit that, but I was 42 before I played Pokemon. I mean, what's wrong with me?
I mean, most people are pretty young when they get into it. So yeah, you got time to grow into other things.
So I was always playing like Magic and stuff like that. So
Landscape.
I tell you, I just I was like, this game's kind of cool. So I got online and played the computer. They have like a computer opponent thing on their Pokemon game online or whatever, and I was laying the smackdown on there. So this is, I'm pretty good at this game. So I thought I'd try it out on the old online against real people thing. And
How'd that go?
Oh no.
How'd that go for you, man?
I put down some little like grass creature that does like 20 damage, and this lady like drops a. It's not even like an evolved creature. It's like a regular creature that does like 200 damage or some crap. It just
Oh yeah, yeah.
decked everything that I had.
Welcome
was
to
like,
EX.
I played. So I played. I got fairly into it again on the online TCG thing. And there's a new like phone TCG, Pokemon TCG Pocket that's coming out later this year that I'm pretty hyped about. But I got into it fairly heavily a couple years ago. And by anything, the TCG online kind of spoke to me. I could get on there and get everything for free and earn packs. Don't have to spend money. And I played an online match against a dude running a Galarian Zigzagoon deck. And if nobody knows what Galarian Zigzagoon is, it is Zigzagoon. If you know what Zigzagoon, it looks like a raccoon, but it's like spiky and it's brown. And Galarian is his like, I don't know, ne'er-do-well brother from a different region. And he was running the deck with that one. I took my turn. And then he took his turn and I lost.
Holy cow.
He beat me that turn. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he hit everything right. He just kept drawing cards and the Zigzagoons kept doing shit. And then it just like stuff just kept happening. Like I couldn't tell what was going on, guys. I didn't know what I was looking at. I just knew it was hurting me. That's all I knew.
Pokemon nerd.
I lost turn 2. I didn't think that was possible in Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
Terrible.
I don't understand, and it hurts.
It's pretty much, Cody. Like, I didn't know if I needed to like I told Elizabeth, I was like, this guy, like, I might be his wife now. Like, I don't know. Like, he may legally own me. After that, I need to find him. I may need to go home.
Oh, yeah,
But anyway,
those decks get crazy.
dude. But anyway, so you were playing Pokemon with your niece, and then got a little hubris about you and got smacked down from that.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think that card games are more fun when you start putting restrictions to them instead of this open formats and stuff. It's like I don't like the pay to win aspect. Anyway, so we were thinking of ideas, and using those influences of me being in game design and graphic design for game industry and all that, and playing that game with my niece. I was like, let's do something called Poke Critters. Like just a Pokemon type card game. But it's not really a card game because I don't have the time to write the rules and all that stuff. So it's just kind of a spoof. I wasn't really all that serious about it. You know what I mean? Just like a little spoof that people might find funny or whatever. And then we realized that calling it Poke Critters would probably get the old Nintendo hounds on us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So
we tried to differentiate it from Pokemon as much as possible. And clearly a parody, So, but what's funny is I just come up with a lot of these cards off the top of my head, having very little experience in the card game, other than playing a few games with my niece. You know what I mean? So I'm sure, I don't know if these cards are overpowered. I don't know if these cards are trash. I don't think anybody cares, really. I just came up with what I think would be a neat idea for the card. And of course, using some of those hillbilly stereotypes, created some critters there. So the artwork is AI generated, but there's a lot of graphic design I had to do to kind of make it look good because AI does strange things sometimes. Oh. So I might get an image from AI, but it could take me 15, 20 minutes or more just to get it to look the way it needs to look, for the card and the layout and all that. So it's a lot of mixture of AI and graphic design there. And for the rules, I did use ChatGPT to help me kind of make rules that would fit into a game like that would make sense. But so I use a lot of AI for that because people. I love reading the comments when you put things out there because everybody's like, not everybody, but there's a lot of people who are like cantankerous or whatever, and they just want to tear down everything. They're like, why didn't you use local artists? I'm like, well, I would love to use local artists, but I don't have a budget to pay local artists. And I believe in paying people for their work, not just, trying to give them exposure or something,
Oh,
So
absolutely, I'd like to respect somebody whenever they do something because it takes a talent. So
I don't want to be like, why don't you do this for your county or whatever? No, they gotta. So I'm going to use every bit of technology I can use to market Pikeville-Pike County, and I'm kind of shameless in that area.
Do your civic duty and draw.
That's right, man. Yeah, don't you love your county? Draw these little critters for me. Plus, I've commissioned artwork for the games I've designed on the side, or I've been designing, and it could be a big project to get artists together, get them to do what you need them to do in a timely manner. I've blown a lot of my own money on some of my projects just to try to do that. It's a big job when I can just go to AI and, since we're not really looking to make money on this thing, pump out some funny looking creatures, So it took off. That was really how the story went there. Of course, there's people were asking about rules. I've had people call. I had stores call wanting to do demos and stuff, and I'm like, I was just like joking, but everybody's like really like taking it seriously. So I feel a little obligated that maybe someday we need to put together like rules for this and a storyline and all that crap,
Well, that's what I said when I was going through it. Like, what does what's Hikachu do when it's you're throwing a fit? What does throwing a fit mean? Your opponent is throwing a fit. In my head, I'm like, okay, this is like analogous to the confusion mechanic in Pokemon, or your opponent is snoring. Okay,
confusion is what I kind of took it as.
Yeah. That's why. I got my head cannon for the Holler Critters.
That's 100% what Jay meant it to be. That's
probably
you figured it out. It was a secret, but
so. There was somebody at UPike that were putting together some rules, but I haven't heard from them since. I don't know if they got busy or whatever. But
looking through it, I already have a favorite one. So Fable.
But if I were to put together rules for this game, I would like. You ever heard of the card game Epic? You ever heard of that? It was a card game that came out. I believe it was written by pro Magic the Gathering players, and what they did is they made a version of Magic essentially that is better essentially for competitive play. And what I mean by competitive play is not, power mongering, but more like enabling the players to make better decisions, give them options so that you just don't drop the most powerful creature or whatever and win the game every time, make tactical options for everything. That would be like the kind of thing I'd like to see for rules for this game would be whatever longtime Pokemon players would like to see the game look like, a parody of the game look like, where it's more competitive and less pay to win and that kind of thing. That's what I would like to see, but in a rules set. But I don't know,
maybe a game you can't get beat in turn one.
Or like
that'd be great, Jay. If you could not put Galarian Zigzagoon anywhere near that damn game, that'd be fantastic.
If you drop a big Hoscat down, you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, maybe there's ways you can deal with that other than just get, ham slapped in the face over and over until all your prizes are gone or whatever.
That's
madness to be a new.
So whatever that is, that would be what I'd like to see for the rules. But we'll see if this thing takes off, and eventually we may need to put something like that together.
An actual balanced card game? That's madness.
I don't know if that could ever happen, really. But certainly better. You can do better things than,
If anybody can do it, Pike County Tourism can.
That's right.
The TCG, the Pokemon killer. That's gonna be
number one card game in the world.
The TCG the world deserves.
That's what I almost titled like the YouTube videos. Be like, will this game kill Pokemon? Just, like the clickbait title thing.
You'd have me assassinated by Pokemon, Pokemon agents. I tell you, in like the storyline, I was like trying to cook up some ideas for the storyline. Why are these critters fighting and all that? And I was thinking maybe like a story of these guys that used to be chicken fighters and they realize it's like immoral or something, and they're watching like Hell in a Cell on VHS one night, and they're like, they hear something in the backyard. You know what I mean? And they're like, what is that?
You just
And
go
they go
full
out.
on Hatfield
Yeah.
McCoy feud, kind of.
And you got this crack in the mountain or something, and they crawl back in there, and there's like this holler full of creatures that love to wrestle. You know what I mean? And they use like instruments and whatever, all the stuff to see who the best is. And they're like, hey, I got an idea. We can make some money on these creatures. You know what I mean? I've been thinking of different storylines. I don't know.
I like it.
Listen, Pokemon was always dogfighting simulation.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah,
you might as well lean into it.
Make a Michael Vick card.
Oh,
boy.
That's probably too much.
Yeah.
A little much.
Bad taste.
All right. Well, Jay doesn't work for Pikeville-Pike County Tourism.
Yep, that was
After
it.
he came on the Hills Have Nerds and was a proponent for dogfighting.
No. These critters are immortal. They don't die. They just become wallered. You know what I mean?
Feel pain.
Sure they do.
Much pain.
You're confused, Josh.
yeah.
They go to sleep.
They do. They get wallered. They don't get knocked out. They get wallered, right? Wallered
that's
is
right.
your version of knocked out.
Kind of. I mean, they're still conscious, but maybe they just had enough. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't know.
Makes sense to me. It's just
Making it up.
sound logic.
There's some dead serious, man. I've seen some dead serious collectors come into our office. I mean, not even kidding. And I'm like, this is a gag. You know what I mean? And man, some people are like, man, I want these in hard cases, and man, it's gonna be worth some money someday. I'm like, come on. But you never know; they might be. I don't know.
You never know.
I mean, people collect cool stuff.
What grade would you say my Holler Critter is?
I'm trying to get my Scrapple Coon, my Hollow full of Scrapple Coons.
Get it graded.
Just for my own collection, just for it to be a conversation piece.
How do you grade something like that? You know what I mean?
Is it somebody will take money to grade it?
You send it in, they just send set back of question marks on it. Like, we don't know where this came from, but I mean, here's a grade for it.
Oh boy.
So
yeah.
So are there plans to expand? Because Tony told me some things, but I don't know what you're willing to divulge, so I won't say anything. I'll just ask you. Are there plans to continue on the Holler Critter vein? Is that something? Because there were numbered 40 cards in the set, and there were not 40 cards in the pack. So
that's true.
So what's coming down the pipeline for Holler Critters?
The reason there were 40 cards in the set is because I just put that number in there at the top of my head, and then I kind of just developed the whole thing out. I'm like, might as well keep it, I guess. But we do have a new set. We do have a new set coming out, actually. That's going to be the rest of them. And that's coming out for the Mountain Girl experience. Lord willing, we're going to get them in time. I think we're going to try to order maybe 100 packs, because we're going to get about half of what we have for Hillbilly Days, just to kind of be, cautious. Because just because it was very popular for Hillbilly Days doesn't mean that it'll be very popular the second time around.
Well, I don't want to have to wait a week for a pack, Jay. That's all I want to say.
Yeah. I'm thinking about opening up maybe tomorrow, opening up pre-orders just to see if there's any interest. You know what I mean?
Not a bad plan.
Well,
that's not a bad idea at all, actually. I might do that and put together a ridiculous, video of some of the new creatures I've come up with.
Now when will those be coming out?
So, this will be coming out. Mountain Girl Experience is June 20th through the 22nd, I believe, in Pikeville. Okay. So we're hoping to get them a week before then. So by the time this goes live, hopefully we're sold out. But if not, we got to come up with some ideas on, because there are people still asking about them, and I need to figure out an economical way of providing those for people without spending tons of money, because producing cards is pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So I got to figure all that out. I didn't know this would be the phenomenon that it's been, but I mean, we got some awesome stuff planned for this next set, though. I mean, I already have it all designed and sent to the printer, and this is June 3rd. So.
Well, I need some lore for Fable Quatch, so
I need to figure that out. I mean, like the AI created for that particular creature, created wanted a Yeti smoking a pipe, but I was like, I'm trying to stay away from alcohol and tobacco and that kind of thing. So I made him blowing bubbles. So I got to figure out what he was.
Wait, now Hikachu is literally holding like a jug of hooch in its hand.
It's a jug of root beer.
That's a jug of Kool-Aid, because Kool-Aid is one of the pear elements.
Yeah.
Pear.
You got Kool-Aid. I could have done White Lightning or moonshine as an energy type or a pear type, but I didn't. So we tried to cut out some, because it's like kids buying this stuff, so we don't want to. And we are making fun of ourselves a little bit, but we're not going into the more ridiculous things about the hillbilly stereotype. I mean, the worst offender would probably be like Whisker Ken, because he has a beard and doesn't have shoes on. But I don't really think that there's any problem in taking your shoes off and going down to the creek and hanging out.
Whisker Ken looks exactly like our friend Jay. Or I'm sorry, not Jay. Lord have mercy. Got 4 million friends named Jay. Our friend Grant. Whisker Ken looks like Grant.
Yeah. And I'm not really ashamed of my culture, honestly. I think that, all the things that the negative things that are said about hillbillies are said about every culture, just about. Like, we're not educated, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I mean, as far as like how we dress and all that, not everybody's like that in our culture, of course, but there are people like Whisker Ken out there. You know what I'm saying? So are we going to act like they don't exist or something? What kind of message is that sending? You know what I mean? Like, our culture is, if you're like a Yankee or something, like, our culture is is the primary culture, the way you need to be and everything. And I don't know. I think I don't really have not really ashamed of our culture. Now, there's some things in our culture I'm ashamed of, but
I run around barefoot outside all the time. So
heck,
that's why he has so many foot infections.
That's right, man.
Thank you.
But most of the critters I think are pretty good. I mean, not a lot of them are. I had somebody, I love reading the comments. Like, somebody said, I'm perpetuating a vicious cycle of something or another. And I'm like, really? And somebody else said, I love the comments, because anytime you put something out there, people just are looking for opportunities to poop on stuff, I think. Somebody else commented and said, I stole the idea from them. And I'm like, no, I stole the idea from. Never mind. I better not say that part. I don't want the big N after me. Yeah, I don't want the big N to come after me. But obviously, I didn't get inspired from some random dude that sells Pokemon out of his trunk of his car or something. So, I mean,
he could ever prove it, Jay. Bring it.
Really. Like, that's a brilliant idea.
I might have been one of those people, Jay. I'm pretty sure my quote on it was, what a cute and fun way to perpetuate vicious stereotypes.
Was that your comment? Oh, my goodness. Oh, well.
And
I'm sure he done it just as a joke.
I got a good laugh out of it, because I enjoy if people rid me, but it's funny, then it doesn't bother me. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
I got the right here. What a super cute way to perpetuate a vicious stereotype. I'll probably try to buy them all. That's what I said. 110% was me. That's great.
Goodness. Pooping on my
game. You quoted me.
Wow.
That's great.
This vicious stereotype.
And I asked Josh to be on the show about the Holler Critters. I like
Josh is just quotable. That's all it is to it,
Yeah.
I swear, people posting vicious evils.
People do some vicious, hateful.
Hurt my feelings.
I'm sorry I hurt you. I meant it jokingly. I meant it very, very cute. I love the Holler Critters, and again, if you've watched my review on them, and I liked them enough to do a big review on them. The only time I've ever done something like that. So.
That's true. I appreciate it. Actually, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. So our next set, which a lot of the cards are going to be based on the Mountain Girl experience. So what I did is I reached out to a lot of the ladies.
What is the Mountain Girl experience, real quick, Jay?
It's like a festival in downtown Pikeville, June 20th through 22nd, I think. That involves, it's just like celebrating women who are artistic, and they play music. They do workshops on how to play different instruments like dulcimers and bluegrass stuff, and painting. It's a neat little festival that just celebrate women's contribution to art in the area and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So I have a lot of friends who like are into that deal, and I just thought it'd be cool for us to do a set. I don't want to do a set after everything. I mean, it's a lot of work that goes into this stuff, so I'll probably do maybe only 2 sets, no more than 3 a year. And I just want to do it for the Mountain Girl experience because I thought it'd have a lot of good ideas there. Because what I did is I reached out to these ladies and I said, well, what kind of critter would represent you as far as the artwork that you do, right? So got a ton of cool ideas actually. I got a tick. I would have never thought to make a critter like a tick. So that there's going to be a critter like that. It's not a Mountain Girl one, but
I've dated some women that the tick would represent. Probably all right.
The bloodsuckers. Goodness.
Not my wife. My wife's my shining star.
Need to clarify that.
More than I ever deserve.
Oh boy.
I got some exes that I think, that ticks right up the alley.
Oh man, I just opened up a wound there. I didn't mean to open.
Oh, I guarantee I got some exes that would share the sentiment about me.
Jay, I'm going to start spreading rumors around that you're going to put out cards, a new pack quarterly. So,
yeah.
Oh boy.
I have people coming upset that there's not a new
What
pack.
if that became what we do? Like we spend 70% of our time making Holler Critters and then like 30% promoting tours and things like that. That'd be crazy.
I think this sounds like a genius plan.
There we go. When's the Holler Critters Kickstarter happening?
Yeah.
I don't know. I might try
That's
that.
their first tournament, right?
Yeah, when's the tournament? That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, we got some cool stuff planned though. We got we have a Hatfield and McCoy critter. You knew that was coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got what's his name? Devilbeard, Hatfield, and Grudge Stash McCoy.
You didn't do devil ants? Like an ant?
I ain't that brilliant, man.
But yes, we did.
Someday. No, that crap's already to the printer. So
well, you have Devil Beard. Just have him swell up into an ant with a beard. Just call it Devil Ants. Then
I could do that. There's always opportunities for improvement later on.
Well, they're great. They were wonderful. I'm excited about the new ones.
That's the errata card set.
Oh, I'm sure there's things misspelled on these cards and everything.
Oh, speaking of, hold on, Jay. I got a bone to pick with you while we have a developer in the room that I can yell at.
Okay.
Hold on. So you flip a bottle cap, right? Like it's a bottle cap is the coin. Well, Granny, what's her name? Granny
Grace, I think.
Granny Grace. Her whole deal as a trainer card is, you flip a bottle cap. The next 3 bottle cap flips you can choose the outcome of them, right? That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Something like
okay,
that.
well, that's great. Well, the card in the set that she synergizes the most with is Fable Quatch, because Fable Quatch's ability, Fable Punch or whatever the heck it's called, does 150 damage per bottle flip. You flip 3, or no, it's 50 damage per bottle cap flip. But it doesn't say bottle cap. It's the only card in the set that doesn't say bottle cap. It says coin.
Oh,
it says flip a coin.
Oh no, synergy destroyed.
Yeah. So I gotta be like a true card game fan and be super pedantic about this. While we have you on the show, does Granny Grace's ability buff Fable Quatch's attack?
No,
it doesn't say bottle cap.
Because we will be introducing coin mechanics in the future. I don't know.
As powerful as he is with the rest of them, it might be a good thing.
I've been so excited to ask.
Josh has
really
been
with me because
we need an errata.
I did go through that whole thing and tried to get rid of all that because I did have AI try to help me like make this in the format of text that you'd find on a card game cards so that I don't write it stupid like, and sometimes it would replace what I'm putting in there with what would be on like a Pokemon card or something. Oh, yeah. So that was oversight. And I need to strangle my editor, who's myself, for missing that. So
I'm glad that it gave me the chance to be a pedantic card game fan to the developer. That was great.
That is the one OP combo probably that's in there, and it's funny.
And
Scrapple
it's rude.
Coon has a cool ability. What was Scrapple Coon's ability? Was to once per turn, instead of attaching like a power card, you can take a card from your discard pile, any card, and attach it to Scrapple Coon as a colorless power.
Yeah,
That was
that's
really
kind of like him,
interesting.
like he's digging through trash. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really cool. That recycle ability on there.
See, I'm curious to talk to Pokemon players and know like how good or bad some of these cards are as far as
Well, it's not even.
effectiveness.
I pulled the video up so I could look at it. It's not even just attaching a power card from it. It's
No,
just
it's any card.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of neat.
I like Jay's. Yeah, that was planned.
That was
100%.
planned. Yes, the coin thing was not.
Playing from turn one, baby.
But
is good.
if I do a reprint of the first set of cards, which I probably will end up doing, I'm going to put a little like second printing thing on the bottom, and then any of the errata would fix. That way, the people who had the first set have the first edition.
So you can have the first edition Shadowless Charizard version.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another question for you, Jay, about this first set.
Mm-hmm.
Was every pack identical?
Every pack's core basic cards were, but the foil cards are randomly inserted.
Okay. So, how can I get a foil Papal Claw and a foil Fable Clutch?
I might have some at the office. I'm not sure. I do have some foils left over.
Oh.
It was kind of a difficult thing when we first got our first print run, and I don't want to say anything bad about them, but their cards are great for play testing and stuff. But man, these prints were not the best. Like the hollow foils were really messed up, some of them. But so they gave us our money back. Well, they didn't give our money back. They gave us some credit, so I got to figure that out. But I found another company that does a really good job with cards. So, but I might have some foils left over that I can sell as individuals or whatever. Yeah, we have
For the
some
right
left.
price, Josh.
Yeah.
Probably sell them for like 50 cents or 75 cents or something. I don't know.
Well, now you've got that out into the world. We may be able to get this episode out a little early if we sweet talk Travis, so we can kind of promote Mountain Girl and promote all that.
That'd be nice.
Which, I mean, it's not. I don't think Pikeville Pike County Tourism is going to get a bump because the Hills Have Nerds for that. But we're in 12 countries. You may have some Lesothians come down.
Sometimes you do. You'd be surprised.
Here's a question for you, Jay, and this may genuinely be something because we do have listeners literally all over the world, which is wild to me, but thank you all. We love you. If someone not able to come down wanted to get their hands on a pack of Holler Critters, what would that be something you guys could do?
Yeah, what we did with the first set was we initially released them only, and this is probably what we'll do with this too, would be make it available only for pickup because we want people to come to our welcome center. That's a big part of what we're trying to do. That's really what we get back out of this is people coming to our welcome center just to be aware.
Yeah.
But after that, probably after the event, if we have any packs left over, we put them online for sale, and we sold out, a whole actual order online. So yeah, we're definitely going to make any stragglers available online. But I think initially we're going to make them only available in our welcome center just to get that foot traffic in there.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got. Sorry, go ahead.
Keep going there. Yeah, I'm good.
So we got Mountain Girl experience coming up, which is a great thing that Pikeville-Pike County Tourism, or that happens in Pikeville, and I suggest anybody who's able to come down for the Mountain Girl experience to check that out. And then you said, Jay, you guys are doing some Holler Critters for that, so you can go up and visit the tourism center and get some stuff from Jay. But what other projects are you working on? You got anything else? Any other irons in the fire? Anything else going on you want to pitch?
Well, before I go on to that, I do want to say that this next set of Holler Critters will be 22 cards, I think, and we'll have a art chase card, which is not really a chase card because we'll have one copy in every pack. So I thought it'd be cool to make something special,
That's
So
awesome.
we're going to have a little bit more in the second time around. But anyway, are you talking about professionally or just on my private side deal?
Anything, whatever. If there are any projects privately that you're working on, you're excited about that you want to talk about, or anything professionally that Pikeville-Pike County Tourism's doing. I mean, we got a decent amount of listeners in and around the county here. That's probably the majority of our listeners are from here around the hills, but we got listeners from all over the place that would probably be interested in hearing what's coming from the man behind Holler Critters.
Yeah, we for the tourism, we're doing a lot of new things with our Hatfield McCoy driving tour marketing. We're really reaching out with audio, video stuff, and we've cleaned up all the sites, and we're planning on putting together some maybe a cool new T-shirt. The design that we have for that has kind of this Norman Rockwell kind of feel to it, like an old movie design, with the characters and whatnot on our Hatfield McCoy marketing. The reason I wanted to do that is because, the Hatfield McCoy story is wrapped up in how it was, portrayed in media over the years. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to mix the two. So that's what we're doing as far as tourism, bringing in a lot of motor coaches and people who want to do group tours through motor coach operators. But privately, in my quest to complete a side project, I've been working on several games over the years. 2 miniature war games. Been writing rules for over 15 years.
Oh wow!
It's kind of like the guy who has the car in the garage. He works on like here and there, and that sucker's never going to run, but keeps working on it. It's kind of like what I'm doing with 6 games here.
Yeah, I'm quite familiar with that.
Yeah, and I tell you, Baldur's Gate 3 has destroyed my productivity over the last few months. So
who was your main romantic interest in Baldur's Gate 3?
Well, I've done 2 full runs, and I'm on my 3rd one. But my first run was Karlak, and then my second run, then my second run was Lizelle, and she's kind of creepy. She got issues.
Yeah.
But
we all have issues.
Anyways, yeah. Once you get to know her, she's a decent lady. This third run, man, everybody thinks I'm ugly or something. I don't know what the deal is. Like, nobody likes my character. I don't know what I've done. Like, I don't know. I've done something wrong, I guess. I mean, the character, my evil run, apparently made me the most attractive when I slaughtered all the little deer people or whatever in that grove. Lizelle really loved that, apparently.
So you're saying this run, your Riz was your dump stat?
I don't know what that even means.
He has no charisma whatsoever.
Probably not.
It's what the kids call charisma nowadays. I use the TikTok term. My kids would throw up in their mouth if they heard me say it.
Oh, they probably are.
They shuddered just as you said it.
Somewhere my children go, "Did you feel that? Whatever." Just shiver.
I felt a disturbance in the air.
Goodness.
Dad used the term Riz again. Son cocks a gun. Shame. Got to put him down.
Oh boy.
That's why I've been for him.
I've been working on it, and I had my war game rules where I wanted them, and I thought, man, this is gonna be really good. This is fun. We were playtesting. I was like, this is a good game, and I realized the reason that I liked it so well is because it's so similar to Kings of War, and I reached out to the author of Kings of War, one of my favorite war game writers, Alessio Cavatore, and he told me that it needs to be different enough to set itself apart and that kind of thing. So, I have this ADD brain that I'm always tweaking on rules and, I could never settle on something. I'm always like, well, maybe I could try it this way. But the problem is when you do that, you have to go through all your other parts of the rules and change them to match the change you made just to try it out, and it gets to be a lot of work. But I have several card game ideas I've been working on over the years, and I have them all in folders and stuff, but who knows if I'll ever actually get any of this stuff done. Like I said, I've commissioned artists for my war games and everything. I mean, I have a lot of stuff done. I have my own miniature range for the game made. I had a sculptor make 2 different armies
Oh,
of
nice.
miniatures for me. I mean, it's crazy the work I put into it, but I need to be satisfied with the rules, I guess. So I keep going until either I collapse or I bring out something for everybody to, hopefully like. So that's what I'm doing on the side when I have free time, which is very little because of Baldur's Gate. I guess I'm not counting Baldur's Gate as free time. That's something I got to do.
Not work so much, but it's Baldur's Gate. Well, you got to juggle those relationships, man. There's a
That's
social
right.
contract there. Karlak demands satisfaction.
I chopped her head off the second time around, and man, that really disturbed me. I was like, goodness. Man.
Oh,
I'll tell you, the evil run was not nearly as fun as I expected. Like, it was really disturbing, and that's about it. I didn't really enjoy being evil. So
I've still not had the chance to play it yet. So
yeah.
I skipped the entire third act because I killed the big dude. I don't want to ruin anything, but I killed the big dude early before I even got to the lower city, and it just totally destroyed like all of the quests in the lower city because I killed that guy. So it's really just a terrible run.
Like a true Dungeons and Dragons player, just completely derail the DM's campaign with some crazy crap you decide to do.
And then laugh in his face.
That's why people hate playing D&D with me, because I always want to do something, that destroys the thing that they worked on for hours.
I don't know anybody like that.
Who would do that?
Who would do something like that to someone they call their best friend?
Same guy that carries around a pickle sack. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was a goblin.
Another throwback for anybody listening. If you go listen to our first Nerd Out, Adventuring Nerds, has he told you about his pickle sack? It's Aaron, Cody, and I talking about all the different tabletop RPG campaigns that we're involved in, and a lot of it involves talking about how Aaron has derailed everything in all of them. And you get to hear about Aaron's Goblin's pickle sack.
He's not derailed Steinhardt's yet. I mean, we've only played like 3 games.
No, we're forcing him to play he's the straight guy in that one. He's the straight man.
Yeah, they're forcing me to play the straight man on that one. Josh went in and said I wasn't allowed to have fun.
You deserve it.
I told you. And like I said in the other, when Aaron's having fun in a tabletop RPG, most of the time everybody else isn't.
That's not always true. We had a great time with the safety rope.
Yeah. We're having a good time in the Call of Cthulhu one we're running right now, I think.
We are.
We're having a good time. We're running Bleak Prospects. You ever play Call of Cthulhu, Jay?
No, I've played some of the Cthulhu game, like board games, but I haven't played like an RPG based on it.
You got any good RPG stories, Jay?
Yeah, there you
go. Let me think. I'll tell you, a good DM around here is Joe Mead. He's awesome. That guy, he will. You know how a lot of DMs are like make faces when you're starting to make stupid decisions or whatever, like, I don't know if you should do that, or maybe they start salivating because you're about to fall into their trap or whatever. Joe is like got a poker face, man, and like he will let you do whatever. And of course, there was like in one game we were playing of his Mystic Forces, I think it was. There was like a shiny object in this pool, and of course I want to know what it is, right? Shiny object. So I try to pick it up, and it ends up being some sort of crazy monster. And, it causes fear or something like that. I don't know. I'm probably slaughtering it, but slaughtering what his rules say. But I like playing the role of the character. I don't, power monger in those games. So it caused me to, like, hallucinate or something. Like, I don't know if it bit you and you start hallucinating or something like that. So I take off running into the dark as fast as I can, and then I run into like a column and knock myself out. He gave me like a, whatever kudos thing in his game for playing the character, because I'm more about role playing the character out than I am like treating it like a war game where you're just trying to kill everything, whatever. So everybody in my party looked like monsters to me because I was like hallucinating and stuff. So acted crazy until the hallucinations wore off. And I thought that was kind of cool. But he had this whole thing planned that we totally bypassed in that game.
Yep.
And he didn't even like make a, it didn't bother him at all, So that was a lot of fun. But I'm sure he thought about that whole encounter that he had planned, and we heard that there's some big giant creature or something that was stalking the land. I said, I don't want anything to do with that. And that's how that went. I mean, who knows what he had planned.
The guys did that in a little Call of Cthulhu scenario I wrote where the town, it's set in the town of Black Pit, Kentucky, and town of the little town in between, little fictional town in between Wise and Jenkins. And
that's cool.
There's an old mine out by the town. They get kind of trapped in there, or not in the mine. They get kind of trapped in the town due to fallen tree, and then all kinds of little shenanigans and stuff break loose. But the townspeople constantly tell the party, like, "Hey, don't go to the mine. The mine's dangerous. Don't ever go to the mine. That's dangerous." And Aaron and them were like, "All right, well, we're just not going to do that."
They told us not to go. So I mean, why would I go?
I'm a good little boy, at least.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to go there. Screw that. That's dangerous. And it worked out well. We had a great time playing though, but but yeah, there's a large portion of that scenario that revolves around going to the mine, and you have to kind of think on your feet when your party doesn't do that, the guys you're playing with.
Yeah.
Alternately, Pat, another mutual friend of ours, Pat.
Page 3 Pat, right?
Yeah, Page 3 Pat.
Yeah, I love Pat. He's awesome.
Full name, Page 3 Pat.
Yeah. So he's on episode 2 of the podcast, by the way, if anyone wants to hear Pat, perpetual GM, another great GM. We played that same scenario with him, his son, and our friend Grant that looks like Whisker Ken. And they only went to the mine. They went there like almost immediately. They were like, okay, well, that's where we're going. So it was great.
The mine sounds like a fun time.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. That makes me even more excited to talk to Joe. Get some
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Some stories of his DMing days. I'm excited to talk about his games with him.
Yeah. He's brilliant. He comes up with a lot of cool stuff. And he has a game called Mystic Forces Omens of Destiny. And it's a board game that we've been playing for a while, and it's a good game, man. It really captures the role playing elements without having to have all that big setup time and everything. And it's well made in that it gets you to work together with your team more than a lot of games like that, and so everybody's engaged the whole time you play it. So there's not a lot of downtime or anything. It's a really well made game. I hope that someday it gets kick-started or whatever. But we enjoy it quite a bit.
Awesome. Well, Jay, we let's leave Joe for Joe's episode. He's coming. He's coming on. Joe's going to get to talk about himself all kinds of times here. I just ate that sentence halfway through. All kinds of times. But we're here to talk about Jay. Yeah. We're here to talk about Jay, and we're about to wrap up. So, Jay, is there anything else that you want to add in, guys? Any questions for Jay?
I don't think I have anything. Well, if you were a bush, what kind of bush would you be?
A shrubbery. I don't know, really. I don't know.
That's always my go-to question.
I'm so sorry. If you were Star Wars or Star Trek?
I like them both, and I know that's not an answer that people accept, but
I accept it.
I think that Star Trek's the best show in TV history, and I think Star Wars is the second best movie series in movie history. So
what's the first?
Lord of the Rings for me.
All right.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Acceptable.
But it's a tough one. I mean,
yeah.
Sometimes I go back and forth a little bit,
Team Iron Man or Team Cap? Civil War.
Iron Man, because I don't know.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's only because Iron Man's better.
I got a buddy who loves Captain America, and I didn't know Captain America had fans, and then I got educated. So
yeah, right, Josh.
Fans in quotations there.
I think we may need to just go ahead and end this. Jay, I don't know if this is going to go live at all. You can cast your Holler Critters into the creek.
You can go
I'm
burn
enjoying
them.
some of these questions. Any other questions?
I got more pictures of Captain America in my house than I do my children.
Oh boy,
He does. It's true.
I do love America though. So,
Marvel
There
or
you go.
DC?
Good deal. There you go.
do you like the Rob Liefeld Captain America?
No, with the giant. I love it for what it is. Like, I just he did that off the perspective of Arnold Schwarzenegger and stuff, but it's still like the perspective of it is still askew. And then he did a Sam Wilson in that same style, and I think he did it very tongue in cheek because he kind of knew what's going on. But Cody asked something.
Marvel or DC?
Back in the day, it was Marvel and Image and Valiant Comics, but lately, I've really come to respect DC storytelling. So I have my buddy Cody, who opened my eyes to how awesome DC is. So I probably, if I were to carve out some time to read comic books, I would delve into the old DC universe. I know that's a political answer, but that's probably what I would do right now.
Oh, this is cool. We could do this. So this is how we end these shows, these little Nerds in the Hills interviews.
Yeah.
We need to get a list of these questions and just kind of quick fire that stuff at them. All right, Jedi or Sith, Jay?
Me, probably a Jedi, but my wife really loves the idea of Sith lightning and force choking and stuff.
Yeah.
Get on her nerves. So I don't know. We can make it work, I think.
Anybody else have any?
Nope. That's all I got.
Nobody's going to ask me a Street Fighter 2 related question.
Should we?
Who's your main?
Honda. I actually
Honda?
last year I was playing a crap load of Street Fighter, and I got to the higher level of skill where all the good players are, and man, they're good up there.
What was the three characters? What was the three characters that had their names switched around?
Was Balrog and Vega and Bison, right?
Yeah. Was
yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, I tell you, at the higher levels of Street Fighter, man, they smack down up there.
They get crazy in just about any fighting game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Did you ever fight Akuma in it?
Yeah, I actually like playing Akuma in Alpha series, but I got pretty good at I'm not great at Alpha, honestly. I went to the arcade expo they had in Louisville, and I was sitting there playing. They had Alpha 3 or something like that there, and some guy sit down and say, "Hey, I'll play a game with you." And, man, there was crap going on the screen. I didn't even know what was happening. It was
really like Street Fighter Alpha 3 because it's got that parry system. I really like that.
Oh yeah. I love the game though. I play Blanca a lot in that one, and anyway,
Chun-Li in that one.
I'll play it sometime.
I'm not great at it, but
I'm not great at Alpha series, but I got to be the gatekeeper essentially online for Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting. And if you beat me, you're probably a really good player, but I wasn't good enough to take on the guys that are at the top. So I don't know. But, I had to put the game down because it was taking up my life and all that crap. And Honda's hard to really play at a high level anyway in hyper fighting because, you could trap him real easy if you're a really good Shoto player and all that. But
I didn't know that.
Anyway, yeah.
I'm not sure the tier list on that one. I never actually looked at it that much.
He's really good at taking on certain matchups, but, anybody that plays Shoto characters or charge characters like Guile can really give him a hard time. But anyway, any other questions you have for me?
Sounds like a topic for another time.
Heck yeah.
Sega or Nintendo?
All right, yeah. Sega or Nintendo? You have questions for yourself?
Yeah.
Nintendo, I guess. I like Sega. What about you guys?
Nintendo.
You have to listen to the podcast to find out.
Yeah.
No, Nintendo, 110%.
Even though Sega does when Nintendo don't.
That's true.
Fail at making consoles.
Well,
On
they
Dreamcast.
still did it.
To be fair, Nintendo has failed on a couple of them, but they brought it back.
Yeah. True.
Well, guys, we are nearing our 90-minute mark, and we try not to let these go any longer than that, because I think our listeners kind of trail off.
And I
Yeah,
think Travis
trail
kind
off.
of starts going crazy.
Jay, this has been absolutely a blast
Heck yeah.
having you on.
Yeah. Well, I loved it.
I'm glad, and we'd love to have you on again at some time, and actually maybe be a instead of in the hot seat for the interview seat, be a guest on one of the topic shows. So, if that's something you're interested in, I'd be great to have you around.
Maybe a
Sure.
Street Fighter
You
episode.
can do a Street
Yeah,
Fighter,
maybe.
2D fighter, something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I'll do that.
Absolutely. So one final time, what do we got coming down the pipeline for Pikeville-Pike County Tourism for you yourself that the listeners can be looking for now?
I really am thinking hard about maybe making some of these Holler Critters available for pre-order, and maybe after the event, we'll see how things go. I got to figure out a way of maybe making them available all the time somehow. I got to figure that out, but would really like for people to be able to get their hands on them if they really want them, and find a reasonable way of doing that. So hopefully,
Quarterly
if you
set
keep,
release.
Hmm?
Quarterly set release.
that's possible. We're slammed at tourism. People don't know this, but Pikeville-Pike County Tourism, man, we have a lot of things going on. It's very busy. A lot of visitors coming in. We've had our tourist spending numbers recently released, and I did a press release on that. But it's millions of dollars of tourist spending in our community, so it's an important thing. It really is. A lot of people might not believe in that, but there's a lot of folks that want to see the Appalachian area, that want to experience that authentic stuff. So they want to see the Hatfield McCoy and that kind of thing. So, anyways, we have a lot of that. We have one accord. Well, I guess depending on when this video comes out, I got to think of that. But I would keep track of what we're doing on social media. We do a lot on Facebook. Our social media is Pike Tourism. Instagram or Pike Tourism. So keep an eye on that. We'll be releasing a lot of the updates for Holler Critters as well as other things on there, what we have going on in Eastern Kentucky. So hopefully that'll work for everybody, and they'll start following us and get involved in the tourism industry going on. Everybody can do something, whether it's clean up trash here or there, or welcome people that come into our town, or we all can work together to make this place that people want to visit and vacation. So hopefully that works.
Absolutely. And again, guys, anybody listening out there, go check out Pikeville-Pike County Tourism on Facebook. Tell them the nerds sent you. Say hi. Look at the videos of Holler Critters. I'm going to post links to all that in the show notes. That should be links to all their social media that Jay just said. It should be down in the show notes.
And our website and our website, tourpikecounty.com, of course. That's the main thing too.
Well, with that, Jay, I think we're good, guys. Anything you all want to plug at the end, Cody, Aaron?
I'm good.
What about your Thursday streaming?
I don't know if somebody wants to hop in. I've been playing a No Sphere Grid run of Final Fantasy X on my Twitch on Thursdays. It's twitch.tv/coffee break lounge. I'd like to shorten that down some, but I got to think on how to do that. So that's what it is currently. Probably about halfway through the game now.
Awesome.
I don't do
My
anything.
son has been playing Final Fantasy 16. I just got it for him. I've been watching him play, and dude, that like the first 30 minutes of that game were brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Aaron, anything?
I don't do anything.
Yeah, I knew that. That's why I asked. I just wanted to hear you say it.
Yep.
But with that, I think we're out. Jay, again, thank you so much for being a guest on the show and letting us pick your brain and talk about Holler Critters and Pikeville and just being nerdy with us for a while.
Heck yeah.
My pleasure. It was fun.
All right. And again, everybody, come visit Pikeville-Pike County Tourism at their website and all the Instagram posts and all their social media links that we're going to put in the put down there. And then let us know what you thought about this episode. Let us know if our Nerds in the Hills spotlights are something that we should continue to do. Was Jay great to have on? Did you love listening to him? Or did you think he was awful and a little pretentious when he talked about LARPers? Let us know. Send us an email at hillshavenerds@gmail.com or come on our Facebook at facebook.com/thehillshavenerds. We also have a YouTube out where we've been posting some things. The video from the live episode is up on the YouTube, as well as some of the older podcast episodes are up there, and the review that I did of Jay's TCG Holler Critters, of the cards that are out at the time. Go check them out, and then when the new pack releases, I'll put up a new review of that, because that seems like that's doing pretty well. People are kind of digging it. It's our best video content so far. It's been so.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's it. Y'all come back now. You hear? Haha, hillbilly sang.
Yeah.